Zinzino, we inspire change in life.
Hello, hi, ladies and gentlemen. Happy 2022 and welcome to our Dr. Abraham webinar. Great to see everyone back again tonight. Okay, I'm Vincent here and I will be your main host and translator for today's session. Okay, I hope everyone have a fantastic rest over the past 2 weeks and now you are fully recharged for the new year. Okay, today is also a traditional Malaysian holidays, all right, known as Thai Pusam. Okay, I know some of you here are celebrating. All right. I wish all celebrating this special day happy Thai Pusam. Okay. I hope everyone has enjoyed your holidays. Okay, so far and really make good use of this opportunity to catch up with your friends and your relatives and share more about the Zinzino products and opportunity. All right. For tonight's session, it will be conducted in English. And for those who wish to listen to Mandarin, all right, Mandarin, you may tune into the Mandarin session. Okay, if you are using the computer to attend, okay, look for the interpretation icon at the bottom of the screen. Okay, and just like a globe, and click on Chinese. All right, if you are joining from your mobile, all right, iPad, you can click on the more at the bottom and then select Chinese. Okay, I will be there doing the translation after our introduction. I'm really happy to see so many of you today. All right, thank you for taking your time off to participate in tonight's session to enrich yourself. Okay, for us here, we have been planning and organizing a lot of online health talks. Okay, so that you can actually invite your customers to this Zoom and have them to listen to this Zoom health talk themselves. Okay, as all our sessions are conducted by professionals such as Dr. Abraham and also the fellow teams of nutritionists. Okay, let's get started. Today, doctor will be discussing with everyone why is it important and advantages to take balanced oil in our diet and how it can help our body to be in balance and to be healthy. And today specifically, Dr. Abraham will be discussing about our very important tool. In fact, I think this is the most important tool that we have here in Zenzino. We call this the balance test. Okay, this test is actually one of the key drivers as to why Zinzino has been growing so rapidly worldwide. You see, every company out there can say that they had the best product and they had the best testimonials. Many customers are taking them. Of course, we at Zinzino, we have plenty of testimonials as well. Okay, but we can also have we can make good use of the test report that's generated from the balance test to show whether the product they are taking, whether are they good or not. In fact, over the past few months, I have been speaking to a lot of potential prospects. Okay, and I can tell you here that balance test is indeed a very important tool. It's a deal breaker whether your prospect becomes your long-term customers or becoming your business partner. All right, the balance test report, okay, will give a very clear indication of your current health status. Once you test it, you can do a check. You will be able to see it quite clearly. What you are missing. And this is actually very important as a society gets more educated. The science and effects of the report, or what we call the test-based nutrition will become more important. And until today, we have done 770,000 tests, 770,000 tests worldwide. Okay, and the number is just like growing every single week. And recently, Zinzino has also launched a statistic database, or what we call the Zinzino Balance Map. Okay, where you can see the real-time balance test, first test, and the second test average, in your country. Okay, for example, if let's say you are staying in Malaysia, okay, you can find out your country average first test and second test average. Your first test can be maybe 35:1, okay, but the second test average may be 3.2:1, something like that. Or you may be staying in India, okay, and then you can see your country balance test average. Okay, first test average and second test average. You may also check your neighbor country average, statistics. It's very interesting. Okay, I urge everyone to check your local statistics at zinzinotest.com. It's actually a very good tool for you to actually promote to your customers as well, because they will be seeing the data from the respective countries. And by the way, for those who are joining us for the first time, welcome. Welcome to our health webinar. Zinzino is a test-based nutrition and a public listed company based in Sweden. And we are also the world leading company with the largest fatty acid test database. Zinzino has been serving many satisfied customers in Europe over the past years. And soon the market will even be bigger and greater, with more Asian markets coming up to you. And before the end of the session, all right, we will also open up the field for some Q&As. Okay, and this is a wonderful opportunity for you to ask Dr. Abraham anything regarding Zinzino health products and also health. All right, I'm pretty sure over the past week, if you have been talking to your prospects, to your customers, to your friends, you will encounter a lot of questions from them. You know, just prepare these questions earlier. Okay, and feel free to ask doctor during our Q&A segment. All right, you can actually type it into the chat box later on. Okay, so you can prepare the question earlier in advance in English, you know, so that Dr. Abraham can advise you later on that. Okay, it's a very good time for everyone to learn and share knowledge. And as you understand more about the products, okay, you will be more confident and more convincing when you are sharing the products to your friends and prospects. Okay, before we start, let me give everyone a short introduction of Dr. Abraham. Okay, doctor is based in Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur, and he has been he has been working in the medical field and worked in hospital for more than 40 over years. All right, he's an experienced doctor. Okay, and has helped plenty of patients back to their health. Okay, even though he's a medical doctor, he truly believes in the holistic approach to keeping our body healthy. He is also now in the scientific advisory board for Zinzino and has been working closely with the rest of the board members to develop better and wonderful products for you in the market. I can't wait to get the session started. So without further ado, let us all type in 888 into the chat box to give our warmest applause to welcome Dr. Abraham. Doctor, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Vincent. A good day to all of you who are present here. I want to welcome newcomers from particularly India. I see a lot of new names. Thank you for taking time off. I know that you are some time around 5 p.m. It's a difficult time to quickly squeeze in a Zoom meeting, and I'm very thankful that you have been able to join us for this hour or so. And all the others from around the world, a good day to you. Some of you are in the morning, or some of you probably late at night. This is a web chat that we have every Tuesday. It is sponsored by Zinzino. That's a company that markets nutritional products. They are based in Sweden. They are listed in the European board. And they have come to this part of the world over the last 2 years. Now, this evening, we are going to touch on a very sensitive topic. Before that, let me say that I am going to be talking slowly for 2 reasons. One is, I think, my age. Then number 2 is there is a simultaneous translation into Mandarin going on. So I need to give them some rope, you can say. Okay, the topic today is do supplements work? Do supplements work? A conditional answer to the question would be no, they don't work. Now, before I explain what I'm going to say, let me pull back a little bit. What do we mean by supplements? It is something that complements your basic diet, whichever part of the world you come from. And the diets vary quite a lot. I usually like to place the importance of what I'm saying in the overall picture. So if I sound like I'm repeating some things, I ask for your indulgence and patience. Now, the most important thing to maintain health is oxygen. Without that, in 5 minutes, you're gone. So make sure that you breathe a little deeper every few minutes or so. Get more oxygen from the air. The air has got 20.8%. And when you breathe in and breathe out, you have extracted only about a quarter of that amount. In other words, there's more available and it's free. And it's very important. All other actions in the body cannot be run without oxygen. Okay, so oxygen is important. Number 2 is water. Make sure you drink enough water. Water is the medium in which all biochemical reactions take place, and you must supply your body not only with adequate amounts of water, but regular supply of clean water, because water needs to be changed. I am sure all of you have heard about how you have to change the engine oil in your motorbike or the car or the lorry. Now, if you want to do a water change in your body, it'll take about 2 to 3 weeks. On an average, if you consume 2 to 3 liters a day, you will achieve that in about 2.5 to 3 weeks. And you should aim for that. Your body requires that. Why don't we talk more about oxygen and water? Because oxygen, or O2, is the same the world over. Any part of the world you go, it's the same. There's no difference. Same thing with water. There may be a little change because of pollution and dirt and so on. It needs a bit of a cleanup, but it's still H2O water. Worldwide, globally, it's the same. Everybody needs it. We don't talk too much about it. But when it comes to diet and supplements, the story changes. When you look at the diet around the world, it is so varied. Now, 2 sessions from now, we're going to talk about the best diet for all of us. But I'll just say a little bit before we go on to the supplement part. Diet varies so much among people who live along the coast, where they consume more seafood, those who live in a continental area where they eat more homegrown animals and vegetables. And if you live in a colder climate, you probably have a diet which is higher in fat. If you live in a very warm area, you have a diet which is lower in fat and lower in protein. The variation is so much that you would expect different outcomes. But if you look at the global population, starting off in the East, from East Asia, you have long-lived people there. And if you move a little inward and come to the Indian subcontinent, which is substantially vegetarian, even those who take meat, a substantial part of their diet is still vegetable and grain based. You see a lot of long-lived people. You move on to the Middle East, where there is a heavy consumption of meat because of the animals that are available. The desert condition doesn't allow the growth of a lot of vegetables. And you will find also people live pretty long. An interesting note in the Middle East is, in spite of obesity, diabetes, high blood pressure, elevated cholesterol, like any other part of the world, the Middle East has a low incidence of cancer, lower than other parts of the world. What is the difference? And someday we will touch on this topic, but just to tell you what it is all about, it is mainly the fasting. In the Middle East, almost all adults participate in the Ramadan fasting, which is 1 month of every year. That has a major impact on the decrease or less frequent occurrence of cancer. So diet plays an important part, or abstinence from our regular diet. Okay, let's move on to the European sector. More beef and potatoes and so on, and you will find that people live long too. So what exactly is going on? It shows that we are more adapted to the local diet in the food and the vegetables that are grown in our own literally backyard or in your regions that you live. And if you follow a balanced diet, you will live a healthy life. You will not need any supplements. Oxygen, water, and a careful attention to your diet. What kind of diet? It will vary from person to person, even within the same region. For that matter, even with one person, it does change with your age. You may have liked certain food when you were young. Later in old life, you begin to enjoy certain other foods. You don't hate anything, but you like to switch over. And there are days that you want certain types of food. So it's a heavy variation. But all of us know exactly what is good for us in an instinctive way. You don't have to read a lot of books or listen to a lot of information. You just listen to some of the traditions in your area and you will know what is good. For example, let me give just one example of an antioxidant. Initially, when antioxidants were discovered, it was found that most of the studies were with Western vegetables and fruits, because the study was done in that area first. And when it was advertised or let the world be informed about it, everybody thought antioxidants were available only in those foods. And of course, with that ability to bring in imported vegetable and fruits, some people paid premium price to get some of those berries to get high antioxidants level. However, later they found a very humble fruit like amla from South India and clove, which is used throughout India, has got an antioxidant content far in excess of what the berries have. And then we realized that the local food has its own properties. That is why it has been modified through a period of time by the culture and so on to bring about traditional cooking. However, in the last 50 years, a lot of our traditional cooking has been changed due to the usage of the type of oils that we use for cooking and the cooking ingredients. In times past, and I'm talking about at least 50 years ago, most people obtain their fresh food from regions that are close to their homes. Not exactly the next town, just in their own area and grown just outside the region. So every day they used to get fresh vegetables and fruits. Today, due to a shift in the population focus, by the way, we are living at times when, for the first time in the history of mankind, urban areas make up more than 50% of the world population. The cities around the world now shelter more than 50% of the population. And these people have no time to grow food. They are doing something else. So the food is grown far away and a long time away. When I say long time, it simply means the transport time is long. So by the time the vegetables and fruits and other food that reaches you, it's already 4 days old, at least 4 days old. It might take even longer, okay? By the time it reaches you, you buy that food, you put it into your fridge, and probably you will be marketing for a couple of days supply, and therefore you will begin to use some of it only 2 days later. So you are getting vegetables, fruits, and so on, which are already more than a week old. Due to commercial reasons, our farming methods have changed. In the olden days, they used to do rotation farming. Many of the things that the plant needs to be healthy, particularly the minerals, is gotten from the soil. Now, the soil must have different plants and vegetables growing on a rotation basis. And there used to be a practice where the soil used to get a rest once every few years. What do they mean by rest? The soil is now used up, and therefore you need to turn the soil. So there's a lot of plowing that's done. And in a natural environment, there are a lot of earthworms, insects, biological species growing in the soil, which are necessary for the health of the plant. Today, you need a supply of a particular vegetable. So somebody who takes up commercial farming will be planting the same vegetable again and again in that same soil. There is no time to take a break for the soil. And after a while, the quality of that vegetable goes down. To supplement that, we need to now add fertilizers. Usually these are artificial fertilizers, and that reduces the strength, the immune strength of the plant. The plant now is easily attacked by pests and other parasites. To kill them, we need to use pesticides, fungicides, herbicides, and so on. What this does is it reduces the potency of the nutrition that we get from our food and increases the chemical content. Okay. However, let me revert a little bit. If you have organic food and if you eat good organic food all year long, you will enjoy good health without the need for supplements. There is one particular population where it was studied intensely because information on that particular generation was easily obtained. Dr. Paul Clayton, who's in our scientific advisory committee, has done this study in the UK. Now, there was a group of people around London area in the late 1800s. Now, these were men and women, families, and so on, who had migrated from the rural area to town. It was just the early part of the Industrial Revolution. There was a lot of physical work to be done. Food was still available because fresh food used to be shipped in from the rural area, which is nearby, to the towns every day. So this men and women had to work the whole day, and they had very good food. There were no fast foods, refined foods for the short periods of 30 to 40 years. And this particular generation, and they have left a very good record because good photography was available, and you can see how physically fit they were. They consumed organic food. And to get all the nutrition, it has been calculated that they were consuming something like 6,000 calories. Today's average person consumes only half that amount. Now, many of us can't eat more than that. So to get all the nutrition from the food that you eat, you need to eat much more. You need to eat organically grown, fresh food. Now, that becomes a big difficulty nowadays. What we get is, as I mentioned earlier, slightly aged food, even if it is supposed to be fresh, and frozen food. I give you an extreme example. If you take shrimp that is supplied from East Asia to certain parts of the United States or North America, that shrimp could be 1 year old. Yes, you heard me right. 1 year old. They are grown, harvested, and they are put in deep freeze, and they have to build up a supply chain so that the supply to the people who require it is on a constant basis. And this, I'm giving you an example of shrimp, but the meat, for example, from meat exporting countries like Australia, some of the mutton and the beef that they get from there could be anything from 6 months or more. They have been in deep freeze, they look fresh and they taste okay, but the enzyme content would have degenerated. So even when the supply chains are good, The deep freeze method is used to preserve them as much as possible in its original form. When you finally cook it, you find that you lose more in the cooking. It has been estimated that if you get fresh fruit or vegetables just pulled out of the ground, clean up and you cook, you lose about 10 to 15% of the nutrition in the cooking style. Different styles, a bit more loss and so on. Now, if you keep that same vegetable longer and you cook, the loss during cooking is even higher. Okay, so we land up with food that seems adequate, but it's not entirely balanced when it comes to nutrition. When you look at our lifestyles today, we are the most hardworking generation in all of history. Some of you may disagree, but let me point out why. 2 generations ago, work started at sunrise, finished at sunset, and that was it. After that, there's no work. You are just at home with your family. You have a family chat. There's transfer of technology by chit-chatting about old times, how your parents, your grandparents did, and the younger generation learned a lot about the old generation. Today, there is no time for it. Thanks to Mr. Edison, who built the incandescent lamp or the electric bulb, thanks to IBM that built the computer and many other gadgets, today we are engaged in work 24/7, 365. Even when you go on a week's leave or a 10-day leave, quite a bit of time is spent on catching up the work that you have left behind. It is not a complete rest. Now, when you function at this level, it's amazing how the human body has adjusted. We are much, much more productive than before. When you function at this level, your nutritional requirement is very, very high. Just a mechanical comparison. When you pour petrol in your car and at the airport, when they fill up the airplane with petrol, these 2 petrols are quite different. The ones that fly the airplane have very high octane requirement. In other words, the quality of that is much better. You need to have that. You can't have your regular car petrol in an aeroplane, even if it is a small, old model. Now, this is what we are expecting from our bodies. We are working at jet speed, and yet what we are pumping in sometimes is not even petrol, but diesel. In some instances, I can say even kerosene, okay? So when we look at the nutrients that we are consuming from our diet, there is a shortfall, and we need to make this up. And that is where supplements come in. Now, earlier I said supplements don't work. I haven't actually come to that reason, and I'll explain that. Now, so we all need supplements. Supplement, remember the word supplement. It is not the main thing. I think the engineering people understand this better. Let's say there's a bridge that is being built, and they find some problems there. And they call in the engineers and make a study. What do they provide? They provide a supplementary report. It doesn't replace the original report. It sets right the missing things and the modifications that need to be done. Consuming supplements is the same thing. You should not reduce the importance of your basic diet. Studies show that the people who get more benefit from supplements are the ones who take a healthy basic diet within your means, capability, and cost. Okay, then come the supplements. Supplements are to fill in the blanks, fill in the holes. Okay, so yes, supplements are required. Do they work? Most of them don't work. Let me give you a little bit of an insight into the supplement industry. Supplement industry started from the dawn of civilization. If you look at all civilizations, you will find they boiled herbs, they steamed some food, special food. If someone has a problem, they grounded body parts of certain animals, and they used all this to rub on their bodies, to consume, to inhale, and so on. They did not do it on a regular basis, more on an intermittent need to do basis. Somebody has a problem, they do it. But it was practiced. Now, what do you think all these are? These are actually supplements. In spite of the fact that they had grown their own food, organic food, full range of vitamins and minerals and so on, in spite of that, they realized that there are shortfalls in some areas, and they used these supplements intermittently. In all our cultures, we have certain formulas that go with that. It may be ginseng in certain East Asia. It may be Ayurvedic herbs in the Indian subcontinent. And in the West, it may be some roots and herbs and so on. These were used. Now we have reached a stage where it touches on regular nutrition. And that's the reason we need to engage in regular consumption of selected supplements. When you look at the supplement industry, it's about 80 to 90 years old. And it is in constant turmoil and change. Fortunately, today, we have come to a stage where we can say, and don't be surprised with this, at least 30% of our supplements work. What I'm saying is something like 70% of the supplements in the market today don't work for many reasons, but I'm giving you one reason why. A survey done by the Food and Drug Administration about 4 years ago found that many of the bodybuilding products, there are supplements for bodybuilding, people who pump iron, they found that 72% of the supplements sold as bulking supplements which help you to put on muscular weight did not have the ingredients listed in the label in its fullness. It was much less. In 50% of the products, they found dangerous ingredients added which are not listed, like steroids. Now, when you take something like this, you will get an immediate effect. Good feeling, you're putting on muscular weight, and leads you onto the wrong path. So supplements today are still in a touch and go thing, but it's getting much better. I think some of you may have heard about infant formula that was sold in China maybe about 15 years ago. Somehow they found that a chemical, when added to infant formula, helps the baby to retain protein and put on a nice bouncy big look, which is admired all over the world, particularly in East Asia. If you have very bubbly looking babies, they are very much admired. And you know what? They added this. And in what was the side effect? Formation of kidney stones. Terrible. Now, the hospitals noticed that there was a sudden increase of infant babies and toddlers coming with kidney stones. That's very unusual. And they traced it to the milk. Of course, severe punishment was carried out by the companies that produced it. What I'm trying to stress here is that many supplements come with much milder ingredients, side effects, and so on. Nevertheless, they are polluted ingredients. They do not add to the value of the supplement, and therefore you need to be careful. Okay. Now, we have reached a stage where we can get good supplements. How do we do that? Of course, make sure that the company has been around for a while, they are reliable, they are answerable to shareholders, and so on. They themselves publish the actual ingredient analysis, so on. Now, the governments have been alerted to this, So before any product comes into Malaysia or India or Singapore, they now look at a certificate of analysis to make sure this doesn't happen. Even then, in a strict market like Singapore, there was one product about 20 years ago, weight loss product that came in very successful, and they had added a ingredient there which caused liver damage. There was a famous TV star who went to do liver failure. She had to have a liver transplant, and that's when it was exposed, even in a strict country like Singapore. Okay, so that danger is all there. Now, you've got your company right, you've got the right supplements. How do we know you are benefiting? Testing, when you take a supplement, what happens is it must be processed by your digestive system. It must be absorbed in adequate amounts and utilized by the cells of the body. Now, many do not get absorbed. Many products that get absorbed into the body are excreted quite quickly. In the bile or in the urine, it comes out. How can we check whether this gets into the body and the cells are utilizing it? Now, we are living in very exciting times. Such tests are now available. In fact, they have been available over the last 15 years. Now, these tests are very, very expensive, and therefore it didn't come into the market immediately. Cost was a problem. Now it has been fine-tuned to an area, to a level where it can be marketed, and that is why it is beginning to be available in the market. And one of the first companies that has been able to bring out this test is Zinzino. At least in Malaysia, Singapore, Thailand, and Taiwan, I can say this is the very first company, and this is the only test that is available in the country here right now. I'm not sure what the situation is in India. Okay, now, what kind of test is this? Mind you, testing for nutrition, testing the blood for nutrition started in the 1930s and then subsequently was discontinued. Why? Because when they tested the blood, they tested the liquid part of the blood, where most blood tests are done. But the liquid part, or the blood volume, which is about 5 to 5.5 liters in a full-grown adult, circulates throughout the body every minute at rest. When you do work, when you engage in sports and so on, it's even faster. But this fluid is ever changing. This is the carrier that brings in oxygen, nutrition, the hormones to the cells and removes the waste matter that comes out of the cell. In other words, this liquid channel is ever changing. So you can test this for your nutrient levels, but you don't know how much gets incorporated into the cells and how much gets discharged or thrown out of the body. Now tests are available where you can actually test the cell of the body and see how much of the nutrition has gone in. But we are not in a position to pinch out cells from our body regularly to do the tests. The best position is to look at the bloodstream and see if there are any cells there. And the only cells we find there are the red blood cell and the white blood cell, which goes around the body and to a very large extent represents the nutritional status of the cells in our body. And the cell that is quite regular in size, and also we know the turnover time, is the red blood cell. So now tests are available where we can actually do tests on the red blood cell membrane to see how much of the nutrition has gone into it. Now, this is a big breakthrough for several reasons. One, logistics and legal reasons. If you take out 2 drops of blood, which is what we call dry blood test. These 2 drops are onto a paper which has got a blotting capacity. So it absorbs the liquid and just leaves the red blood cells there. A dry blood spot test, which can be done on a card, can be sent overseas without all the necessary auditing or checking that needs to be done. If you send any biological material like blood or tissue or anything like that, you have to check for certain diseases. That costs a lot of money, and it requires that you go through government pipelines. And same thing on the countries that analyze it. They will repeat the tests to make sure you're not bringing in any diseased material. You see the amount of cost that is added. The packaging is different. Not all carriers will entertain this kind of transport. Now, with this card, you just put it into the appropriate envelope and you send, and it doesn't require any kind of filtering. Okay. Now, these dry blood tests are being popularized, and Zinzino is, I'm glad to say, the first one to offer this here. As Vincent mentioned earlier, at the moment in this part of the world, we offer tests for fatty acids only. This is to measure the amount of omega-3 in your body that is actually being used, incorporated into your cells. Okay. Now, the product that we market is called balance oil because we want to balance the omega-6 and 3 in your system. This is not a talk on that, so I will just rush through some very salient points. If the omega-6 is too high, not enough omega-3, your body goes into a situation where it develops a lot of inflammation. The desired ratio is 3:1. Omega-6 to omega-3 is 3:1. Ideal desired ratio. The average ratio we see in most places is anywhere between 15 to 25 of omega-6 to 1 part of omega-3. That's already a major imbalance. This is not an indictment, but in certain results from India, we notice that it goes up to something like 100:1. Okay. The consumption of omega-6 oils, the usage of omega-6 oils in the Indian subcontinent is very high. What are these oils? These are the vegetable oils that are hydrogenated and processed. They have a high content of omega-6. You need to cut down on that. So when we do the blood test, we do a complete analysis for you, not just the omega-3. There is an analysis of 11 oils. Omega-3 is actually a family of 4 different oils, and we do the testing for all 4, and we give you the value. Omega-6, well, it's not in the bottle. The bottle supplies omega-3, vitamin D3, omega-9, and a group of antioxidants called polyphenol, which does the trick. Okay, there's no omega-6. However, the test that we do includes omega-6 and the 4 different oils in that family. So 4 of omega-6, 4 of omega-3, and omega-9. Omega-9 is a monounsaturated oil. You also, the ones that we supply in the bottle is mainly from extra virgin olive oil. However, even in your own diet, you can get a lot of omega-9 or monounsaturated fatty acid from the seeds that you take. It may be almond, it may be cashew, nuts, and so on. You get, and this is a healthy oil. That's a single reading. So that's 9. We give you another 2 readings. This is for saturated fat. Saturated fat, the main source is meat, okay, non-veg stuff. However, coconut oil and avocado has a lot of saturated fats. You need saturated fats. However, you need them in small amounts. So the test results are not only accurate, but the actual oils that are incorporated into your system. It's a very revealing result, you can say. And you can start adjusting your diet based on this, okay? So this dry blood spot test, I would suggest those of you who haven't done it, do it just to know where you stand, even before you take the product. So to go back to the original question, do supplements work? The answer is now a little more complex. Most of it doesn't work, not because we don't need supplements, because the preparation is not right. And when you get the right supplements, we now, for the first time, are able to find out whether it's working for you. Okay, I'm going to stop here and maybe address some of your question and answers, which is what we do usually at the end of the talk. It's a chat. Thank you. Any questions? There is a question from Lim. Can balance oil help with condition of new bone degeneration? Help with condition of bone degeneration. Now, I'm not sure what they are hinting at bone degeneration. Let me assume something, maybe talking about osteoporosis. Now, if it is osteoporosis, surprisingly, it is not calcium that you need as number one. You need protein, and particularly collagen protein, okay? You need minerals. Now, calcium is at the top of the list, but you must also have magnesium so that the calcium is used in the right places. In other words, what I'm saying is you need a balanced diet to form good bones. You need a little bit of exercise. If you're already doing some physical work, that's good. Is it true that taking cholesterol tablets is for life? Yes, cholesterol is a very important substance to the body. It is so important that even if you take any amount of cholesterol, the body produces something like 70% of all your cholesterol needs. The cholesterol goes into the making of hormones, your cell membrane, and therefore it's very important. When we were much younger, any excess cholesterol is broken down by the liver and cleared by the bile. Now that channel of breakdown becomes less efficient as we get older and as we get under more stress for some reason. We haven't worked it out. So the only other way is to reduce cholesterol absorption and to reduce cholesterol production in the body. That is why this medication is given. And yes, generally it is lifelong. Can balance oil help to reduce cholesterol? No. When you do a cholesterol test, you have 4 different items there. There is one substance there called triglycerides. Okay, that is probably the easiest control. Cut down on your carbohydrates and the cholesterol will come down. Now that effect is enhanced by balance oil. Can balance oil help dementia patient? They should have been taking balance oil before they get dementia. Okay, they already have dementia. Should they take it? Yes. Why? The dementia is going to get even more worse without that. So hopefully the DHA present, and we have a lot of DHA in the balance oil, can help support the brain cells. Can balanced oil help in body slimming? We do not make the claim, but we notice those who are quite obese, not the slight obese, those who are quite obese, the first 2 or 3 months, there seems to be a side effect in the ability to reduce weight. Now, don't take that as the only way to reduce weight. Do other things like exercise, modify your diet, and balanced oil will supplement that effort. At what age can one start consuming balanced oil? As early as you are on a normal diet, okay? In fact, I should say even children who are on just nursing, they are being breastfed by their mothers. Why do I say that? If you notice that infant formulas nowadays, infant formula is milk powder for the first year of life. They have added DHA to support brain development. Studies show that the DHA requirement, DHA and EPA, more so of DHA, which is omega-3 requirement for the pregnant woman, starts rising in the second trimester. That means 4th to 6th month. And the rise takes off suddenly in the last trimester. This is the period where the brain development of the baby or the fetus is at a very fast rate. And DHA is a major requirement. What time is best to take balanced oil? Anytime. Balanced oil is a food, concentration of food. So you can take it anytime. And balanced oil help dialysis patient? Yes. But I must say that you need to work with the doctor who is doing the dialysis. Dialysis patients are limited in their liquid intake. So they have to take into account the amount of liquid that you're taking, one. The balanced oil also has vitamin D3. Kidney patients do not produce much D3. The kidney is knocked out. So yes, it'll help them. Best treatment for paralysis. Zinzino balanced oil. Can a paralyzed person be cured? Oh, that's a long shot. Why did the patient get paralyzed? It may be a stroke, it may be an infection of the brain, it may be injury due to a car accident or a fall, many reasons. And the treatment, appropriate treatment, should be done by the healthcare person who is doing the treatment. Now, in all that, you need to support the brain cell. The brain cell requires a lot of DHA, whatever brain cell that has not been damaged, and you want to protect that. Yes, balanced oil can play a role in that. High blood pressure, they find that once you hit 4:1 ratio, omega-6 to 1, it has a beneficial effect on blood pressure. Can it reverse your pressure? It depends. If the pressure is something that you develop just over the last 1 year, over a period of time, it can have a beneficial effect. But if the person has been suffering from that for many years, the tissues have changed. So what's the point in taking, my blood pressure is 15 years old, so if it won't change? No, blood pressure is a disease that will also grow old and more intense. So you take the balanced oil now, probably, excuse me, it can hold the blood pressure in check so that it doesn't get worse. Can balanced oil help sugar patients? I hope the patients are sweet. Sugar patients, I assume it's diabetes. Now, this is a major, excuse me, major problem in the subcontinent. And I'm not very glad to say that Malaysia has overtaken you. We are now #1 at the rate of increase, not the total number, rate of increase of diabetes in the world. Okay. Now, you will have to cut down your carbohydrates. You must do some physical activity. Only then whatever you do will help. Okay. Your regular nutrition must be good. Balance oil is only one of the factors. Onaira, my husband heart is 94% and kidney is 50. Can he consume balance oil? Heart is 94% working, I suppose. 94% is an elite athlete's level. And I wonder why the kidney is only 50. Okay, so there must have been a cause because the kidney has been affected. Yes, he can consume balance oil, but I'm sure by now they have found out what the kidney problem is. Make sure you get all the treatment necessary. Can balance oil help with diabetes patient? In a roundabout way, get the other things right, and this will support that. Cancer, diabetes, paralysis, well, the background is inflammation. Cancer, for example, the American Cancer Association says it takes 2 to 20 years to develop cancer. By the way, there are more than 150 different types of cancer. Okay, so all this takes time. It'll be a good thing to have this habit of taking omega-3s much earlier in life. Now, there is a question, can diabetes take Velixir? Yes. In fact, our next session is going to be a talk on a premium multivitamin antioxidant product and why we promote this particular product. That is the Velixir. Yes, diabetic patients can take that. It will help them. Balance test results 24-1. Wow, 24-1. You need to make a police report. This is a dangerous situation. Okay, long term, not for tomorrow, not next week. This needs to be balanced. Now, before I say take our balance oil, I must tell for this particular kind of result, cut down on your cooking oil. You need to cut down on your omega-6. Don't take fried food. Even other cooked food, don't take food that is overflowing with oil. Okay, cut down on that and take the omega-3. So in other words, you cut down the 6, increase the 3. You will reach the balance much faster. If balance oil can help high blood pressure and the omega index is 4:1, does it mean we can stop taking? No. Don't take your high blood pressure medicine. Don't stop taking it. Now, high blood pressure is not something that develops over the last month or two or even a year. It takes a long time. There are a lot of changes that have already occurred in the body. Your hormones, the lining of the blood vessels, the stiffness of the blood vessels, many renovations have taken place. So if you stop the blood pressure medications, your blood pressure is going to go up, okay? What we offer in balance oil is a repair mechanism. How much of the repair your body can do depends on your body and the stage where you are. Due to lymphoma and his heart stopped for a few seconds, coma for 9 days. Lymphonia. I suspect it is pneumonia. There has been a cardiac arrest and the patient is in a coma. That means unconscious for 9 days. We do not know the extent of damage. I guess this question is whether you can take balance oil. Now, the patient is in coma. I don't know whether they are feeding the patient via a tube that goes through the nose. If they are, please push in some balance oil. That will help. Okay. Any other? I think I may have missed one. Can balance oil help in skin rashes and eczema? Both are two different conditions. The manifestation might look pretty close. Now, skin rashes, you need to find out what you are allergic to. In eczema, there is a disturbance of the immune system. Why that disturbance occurs, we don't know. And so seasonally, there are these skin manifestations where you get peeling, it could be dry, it could have a discharge. That is eczema. Now, you need to have a clean bowel. Eczema. Make sure your bowel movements are not only regular, but complete. Do all the necessary things. Take more fiber, drink more water, a little bit more movement. Yes, balance oil will support the health of the skin. Now, the skin requires a lot of omega-3. That omega-3 helps to retain more moisture in the skin and also with the healing. Okay, so yes, there will be a positive effect. Balance oil, brain cancer. Brain cancer is a tricky area. The main types will be, there is one cancer of the brain which looks like a golf ball. You just remove it and you're 100% cured. And then you have another variety which has got roots into the different parts of the brain. Now that is very difficult, even with surgery, radiation, and so on. Okay. Meanwhile, while the patient is undergoing that, we want to support the other parts of the brain that is not affected. Yes, they should be taking balance oil. Lung cancer, 4th stage. I'm afraid its 4th stage is quite late, actually. Now, will balance oil help? Yes, it will help in the quality. Now, when we give good nutrition to very sickly people, they suffer less pain and discomfort. Okay.
All right. Okay. I think I think we overrun the time. Okay. Thank you, Dr. Abraham, for your sharing once again. We can see that there's an increase in the relevant number of questions, which is really a good thing. Okay, everyone learn together. Okay, and when you are being asked next time, you have more confidence. Explaining to your prospects. Okay, I'm sure everyone tonight has benefited from your tip and advice. Let us all give Dr. Abraham a round of applause. Thank you so much, Doctor. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, and of course, if you like what Doctor has shared earlier, okay, but have yet tried to take our balanced oil, our product, okay, talk to the person who invites you to this call, okay, and before you start taking the balanced oil, okay, we strongly recommend you to do the test first so that you know where you stand. Okay, you may or you may have not been taking a lot of supplements before, okay, but now with the balance test, there will be no more guessing, okay, no more guessing regarding your health status, because the balance test report, okay, this is the balance test report. You know, I always have this with me, okay, because it's actually my own report. Okay, the test report will give you, will show you what you're missing. Okay, by the way, this is my first test report, okay, which I take last end of 2020. My first test report was 12.7. Okay, and after 4 months of taking the products, of taking the balance oil, okay, and I took this in May 2021. Okay, it's a yellow color, 3.4:1. Okay, this is the English Chinese version. Okay, balance test, you have the reports you can download in English, Chinese, and a lot of other language. I can see earlier was 12.7. Now after 4 months of taking the balance oil, it becomes 3.4:1. And in September, another 4 months passed. Okay, the last one, my test result was 2.5:1, and I'm balanced. Okay, I'm balanced, and you can see there's most of the categories I'm a green color already. All right, so it's really helped me a lot over the past year. I've been taking, I can see an improvement in my memories, okay, in my focus, in the quality of my sleep, it also helped my nails to be more healthy, as well as better skin condition. All right, so even though the balance test is so important. Okay, once they do the test, there will be no more guessing regarding the health status. Okay, because the balance test will show that will show you what you are missing. And even for those who have been taking other brands of omega-3s, Okay, I strongly urge you to try our Zenzino balance test to see if the product that you have been taking, whether are they working for you. Okay, for my one, I have been taking other product for 16 years, but my result is still 12.7 is to 1. So for though even for you, so for you, you can actually do your test. All right, and we have plenty of new customers, okay, taking other brands of omega-3s, and you will actually be surprised, even after years of taking, you are still not balanced yet. So after you have taken the balance test, you can take the balance oil for 120 days for 4 months. Okay, and for those who haven't seen the balance oil, this is the balance oil. All right, okay, 300 ml, 100 ml. Okay, make sure that you are taking the balance oil. Make sure you take the balance oil every day, and make sure that you are taking enough. Okay, taking enough. Okay, if you want to see good improvement, okay, make sure you take enough. And after 120 days, take the test again to see your second result. Okay, from the 770,000 tests worldwide that we get so far, okay, we can be very confident that you will definitely see an improvement. After 100, after taking the balance oil for 120 days. Okay, and of course, if you like the product, like the experience, okay, you can share them with your friends and family. And when you have 4 customers yourself, Zinzino will reward you with a free product for your sharing effort. Okay, so inviting your customers and prospects to attend our health talks are important. Okay, it will be very helpful for your business. Okay, because we have Dr. Abraham, we have our nutritionist to conduct this session. Okay, they can explain the product better, and this actually help your customers to understand the benefits of the products. Why to understand the benefits on why they need to take the balance oil every day. Okay, other than Dr. Abraham's session on every Tuesday, on every Wednesday, 7:45 p.m. Thailand time. Okay, now we are going over to Thailand. Okay, every Tuesday we have Dr. Abraham session. Every Wednesday we have a session in Thailand, and this is given. The health talk is provided is given by our product specialist in Thai. All right, so he will be speaking in Thai. So if you do know of anyone from Thailand, okay, do invite them onto the call. That's a very good chance for you to actually expand the market into Thailand. Okay, and for this week, okay, on Friday 8:45 p.m. okay, it will be our nutritionist, okay, Miss Julia. Okay, she will be speaking to us in Mandarin. Okay, okay, and she will be discussing with everyone about balance test and balance oil. This week specifically, she will run through how to read the balance test report in Mandarin. Okay, this week, Friday, 8:45 p.m., our nutritionist, Julia, okay, she will specifically run through how to read the balance test report in Mandarin. So if you have any Chinese speaking prospects who want to understand more about their balance test report, okay, make sure they tune in this Friday, okay, to find out. All right. Okay, I know the above may sound too much to remember. Okay, that's why stay connected with us at our Facebook group. Okay, if you have not liked us, like our group, okay, go to like or follow Team Zenzino Asia. Okay, for those for the benefits of those who are not sure what I'm talking about. Okay, this one. Okay, team, do go and like our Team Zinzino Asia. Okay, if you have not liked us yet or follow our group yet, stay connected with us. Okay, there are a lot of informations over there. Okay, but make sure that you filled up your name as well as your ID. Okay, we need these 2 information for you to gain access to the group. Okay, stay connected with us, with the company at other various social media channels as well. Okay, we put up the schedule, our Zoom meeting, our webinar, our health webinar meeting, okay, 24 to 48 hours before all sessions. Okay, and stay connected with us. Okay, so you don't miss out any important information. Okay. All right, that's the end for tonight's session. Okay, I hope everyone has enjoyed the session tonight and you find it beneficial. Do remember to help to promote and share our health talk as well, so that your friends and your prospect, they will know the benefits of taking the products every day. Okay, stay safe, stay healthy in meantime, and do plenty of Zoom meeting. Okay, and I hope to see you again tomorrow at 7:45 p.m. Thailand time. All right, thank you everyone for your participation. Good night and have a wonderful week ahead. Bye for now.